Ryan Dunn had himself an impressive summer league showing. We're going to go ahead and dive into the film of his first game against the Washington Wizards and just kind of look at a lot of the little things that he's mentioned he wants to continue to improve with, but also the little things that he needs to continue to improve with. So as we look at some of the numbers from Ryan Dunn's summer league showing, very impressive 14.7 points per game, also averaging 2 assists. I think that speaks more so than anything to not just quick decisions, but also decisions with intent, whether they come quickly or whether he's kind of processing what's happening and then reacting to what's being dictated around him to ultimately create advantage for others. The other big one, probably as important as anything for most people, 37.5% from deep on the volume of attempts that he was taking. Very fun to see him. Hopefully that's something for him that translates. Also want to look at that general field goal percentage as well at 48.5%. Very efficient clip. 2.0 steals, very indicative of his activity, especially at the point of attack, which we'll be getting into in this session. And the last one I think that's equally as important as anything else is the rebounds. The rebounding really unlocks multiple things for him. And if he's consistently on the boards, especially on the defensive boards, that's going to play into something we were going to speak to in this film session, which is the potential for him in grab and go scenarios and how that creates new pace for the Suns going into the offensive side. Also on the offensive boards, he was one of the top percentile offensive rebounders for his position, even as a rookie last season, somewhere in the 80th percentile in non-garbage time minutes per cleaning the glass. So little things to kind of keep in note when you're watching film and looking at him play in real time. Felt like we saw some good growth from him in that first game. So we're going to go ahead and dive into that film now. All right, picking up on his very first play, we're going to be watching him off the ball, and we're going to be watching the quick decisions. So some of the big things I'm looking at with him, the quick decision dynamic of the touches when he gets it off the ball, but specific to that is the decision making on top of the quick decision that he is making. So when he's off the ball in these type of scenarios, as I let it flow through and I speak over it, gets the catch, but look at the difference in how he kind of creates new advantage on the catch versus if he was to have caught this kind of flat-footed. Because he runs through this catch, terminology-wise, coaches call this a stampede. It's very much a skill in the present-day NBA. Decisions that guys are making off the ball, understanding what's going on around, what the space it is that they're operating in is as well, and how they can kind of get from point A to point B a little bit more quickly and create new advantage. If he just catches this at a standstill, his defender can kind of close out because he's already next to him and there's no advantage created. But because he kind of cuts down the angle on the pass, that allows for him to create leverage in a scenario where he just literally did not have it. And because he kind of runs through this almost like a wide receiver, if you play receiver, you're taught to meet the pass instead of waiting for it. This is what a stampede is in basketball sense. Meets the pass, gets downhill, and because of that, as well as his athleticism, and you can see as well the improved handle, he's able to kind of get a deep paint touch, all created again by himself. This is his version of self-creation. He's able to get a deep paint touch, finish over the top of a handful of players with a nice little finger roll, and that's a basket. And then we transition to the next clip here. Again, see him on the offensive end. You see a little bit of Oso Iguodala here. Jumping the gun some. We'll get to him at the end of this upcoming week to look at his summer league showing. But looking at him taking the ball and kind of just finding crevices and cracks within the defense to attack early in the shot clock. And now you got Ryan Dunn one pass away from him. Nothing comes with an early attack from Oso, so it naturally flows into kind of a secondary break, if you will. Quick pitch over to Ryan Dunn. And this is what we talked about in the opening. Quick decisions, but also, even if it's not a quick decision, a decision with intent. And a lot of times last season, it felt like in these scenarios, as I let this flow through, we'll bring it back, he would kind of make decisions because he wanted to make them quickly, because that's what he was kind of emphasized to do, implored to do. He would make the quick decisions and not really have a plan in place with the decision that he was ultimately making. However, you can see the game slowing down for him. You hear people say this all the time. This is it in real time with Ryan Dunn. Gets the catch. Last season, he would have either ripped into the baseline drive, which he ultimately does here, or he would have just used the screen. No advantage would have been created. And who knows what happens at the end of the shot clock, especially because this is summer league. But because he's where he is now with his skill development, in a skill sense in terms of intangibles, or tangibles rather, but also mentally between the ears with the intangibles, you see him slow this down. He's now in control of the pace because he slows this down here. He allows for Oso to set the screen, to be set with his feet and not be moving. Allows for the defense to kind of set and the kind of dust to settle on everything that's happening with the help layer as well. As he gives a peek around to see what's going on around the basket, he sees that no one's at that strong side block area. So the right hand drive is completely there as long as he times it up well. And again, being a great athlete, times it up, steals that tempo back, and you can see it's already daylight. But it's not him just going to the basket to finish for himself. And this is the other layer of the discernment part between the ears with them. Creates the advantage, plays off of 2 feet. And this is something I spoke to a whole lot last season. Big parts of his growth will be him playing off of 2 feet, whether he's passing or he's scoring for himself. Plays off of 2 here, and because of that, he's able to attract 3 defenders, read that, understand who it is that's in that strong or the weak side corner opposite of where his drive took place. Easy kick because he's on balance, because he plays off 2 feet. Kobe Bryant knocks down a wide open catch and shoot 3-point opportunity. On to the next clip. This is what we want to see a whole lot of from him, picking up 94 feet right there at the catch point and pressuring the ball all the way up the floor. Had bouts with all types of guards throughout Summer League. A lot of guards younger than him or at the same age as him. So him being able to apply this same type of pressure to those types of dynamic guards really bodes well for what I imagine Jordan Ott and company want for him to do with their defense going into this upcoming season, his sophomore year. Great job just kind of slowing the offense down because of the ways in which he's able to pick up full court with his defense. Offense ends up getting to the action that they do on a run a whole lot more slowly than they actually wanted to. That allows for everybody else defensively to be successful. And because Malowatz is able to get a fingertip out of his drop coverage on his pass, now we're going to see Ryan Dunn, not in the literal grab and go sense, because this is more of a steal from a deflection than him grabbing a board. But you can see the way that he's able to now put pressure on the rim after he does get the ball in transition. No need for an outlet pass. He's able to kind of time it up, not going too quickly at a breakneck speed, but understanding that pace is going to allow for him to figure out which angle he ultimately can drive. Because of that, he's able to get into the contact, get into the hip, get to the free throw line. Next clip here. Now we're going to see him initiating a little bit. Nothing too crazy going on this rep, but I do want to pay close attention to one quick thing here as I bring the cursor into the screen. Or never mind, no cursor needed for this one. But as we kind of slow it down, you see he's getting ready to use a little bit of a drag screen from Kaman Malowatz. Pay close attention to whose hands are on the opposite 45 of where he starts this ball screen at. That's Kobe Bryant opposite of him, almost doing jumping jacks at the still frame. Now pay close attention to where Ryan Dunn's head is right now. Pay close attention to, because this is transition, what the defense is doing, still recovering into the paint. Ultimately, how quickly he kind of processes the lay of the land around him defensively. The quick decision that's made because everybody runs to the paint. Only person that's not touching the paint on that side of the court for the Washington Wizards is Kobe Bryant. Everybody else is in the paint right now. That means that he's wide open. Ryan understands he doesn't need to do too much, but this is just the discernment part, not doing too much. Sometimes just keeping it as simple as possible and taking what the defense is given creates great shot quality early in the shot clock. Here's Kobe Bryant for a wide open catch and shoot 3, and that barely touches the rim as it goes through the net. Next clip. Back to the offensive side again, and this is one thing that I want to pay close attention to with them getting into this season. We talked about it a whole lot last season with Devin Booker solely, and them just finding ways to get him the ball early in the shot clock up the sideline after misses or makes. If he's able to get ahead of the ball and ahead of the defense, that gives him opportunity and optionality to attack left or right at whichever tempo he wants to, and ultimately kind of just do what he wants as a scorer. Now, obviously, Ryan Dunn is not the level of scorer that Devin Booker is, but if you give someone that's an athlete in space options before a defense can be set, now the defense is at their mercy, and Ryan Dunn gets this catch with almost 23 seconds on the shot clock. The defense has barely crossed the half-court line or the three-point line, yet alone gotten below the free throw line, which is where he's at already. All he knows is one-on-one right here, has all the space to work with in the ways in which he wants to do so. And this gets to the confidence part and the skill. Talk about skill development, all of these things. Taking the shots that you are very comfortable taking. Summer League puts players in positions to do this a whole lot more comfortably, especially if it's their second year or if they have like a cream of the crop type of skill set that they're working with. Ryan Dunn isn't an elite offensive player, but he has specific shot types that he's shown to be very comfortable taking. This is one of them. takes this matchup down to the low block, hits him with that bump with the left shoulder, turns over the right, gets into this fade, and look at the balance into the shot. This is a fadeaway, but because he's so balanced, these mechanics are very, very rehearsed. This is him playing his game at this point, and this is a whole lot of the bold to confidence that we want to see a whole lot more of from him. Then we get to the next clip. Back to the offensive side again, and these are little things. We talked about the quick decisions off the ball. Talked about him stampeding on the very first touch. We talked about a couple other different kind of scenarios where he's off the ball, needing to make quick decisions. This is also one of them. No drag screen coming in. Doesn't necessarily want to set a screen here to flip matchups, but just do a little bit to confuse the coverage on ball and see what kind of comes of that. This happening with 17 seconds on the shot clock. Again, very early in the clock. So he just kind of, not even really a ghost screen because he doesn't really even truly fake the screen. He just almost exchanges with the ball handler here, more of a shallow cut than it is a ghost screen. But because he kind of runs in the vicinity of where the ball handler is and where the ball handler's matchup is, watch the slightest bit of confusion that takes place. And this is what you want. Create just a subtle advantage in terms of reaction to then allow for yourself to play off of early in the shot clock. I think ghost screens and kind of shallow cuts are going to be hallmarks and kind of bookmark moments for each offensive possession under Jordan Knott, especially early and late in the shot clock. We see this one in the early shot clock variant here. Gets a closeout to attack. The closeout is super late and is very slow. So he just catches, raises from that left wing and knocks down the three. And then the last thing for me on this rep, after the make, it's the confidence that you notice coming with celebrations like this, because last season he was not doing little things like this, but again, just small documentable moments that speak to where the confidence is with him, having fun out there. And then we get to this next clip, back to the defensive end, point of attack defending, his kind of basically his most impactful skill at this moment, being able to just hound ball handlers up and down the court, not having any fun trying to operate through all that is his physicality to the legal limit without fouling, but having the foot speed to stay contained and stay attached to the ball. All these little things just adding up. Nothing really comes with that possession, but the fact that he's just able to stay in front of guys and really stifle them as they try to get into the offense, very important, and something that Jordan Knott can build lineups defensively around with him on the court. And then you get to the last clip of this film session. Again, nothing too crazy, nothing too detailed, just kind of highlighting more than anything the development of Ryan Dunn and where his confidence level is with everything. This one is a little bit more X and O than any of the clips that we look at in this one. So we see them setting up to set this double screen here on the ball for Yuri Collins. Pay close attention to the bottom left corner of the screen. You'll notice that neither is there any offensive player or defensive player. That means that there's no help in this scenario. I think Jordan Knott, with the way that he's looking to structure his offense and manipulate space, is going to find plenty of opportunity for situations like this. As I let it flow through, we talked about ghost screens and we talked about little things to create reaction advantages early in the shot clock. Because that space in that bottom left corner is completely manipulated, it's completely empty, there's no one there. Ryan Dunn, understanding that that space is unoccupied, is able to be the first screener in this double screen situation, knowing that that's going to tug at the coverage on the ball. It looks like the Wizards wanted to switch this, but the coverage and communication is not sharp on ball. So he just kind of turns out of this, slips into the roll, and because of the space that's manipulated, all he has to worry about, because the center is also all the way at the free throw or at the three-point line, waiting for the second screen to be set, he has nothing but smalls to worry about at the rim. And he can just beat them with verticality. Good job with them again, playing off of 2 feet. I cannot overemphasize that enough. That allows for him to kind of be a little bit more deceptive as he gets into this catch. And because of that, he's able to kind of tilt and lean to the left some, gets daylight, finishes at the basket. First game of the 2025 Summer League was very impressive in multiple respects. I think there's a lot of things that we're starting to see him sustain, even if it's as simple as the energy level, the EGBs that we always speak to, energy generating behaviors, those sustaining, but also being added to in layers with a whole lot more urgency. There's a lot less thinking for him, as you could tell from the film that we look at. There's a whole lot more confidence in any decision that he's making. And that combined with his skill development in between the ears as much as anything else, where he's processing things and the game is slowing down for him, is putting him in a great position to be very, very good for this Suns team in this sophomore season.
We all silly like the mayor.